We are going to talk about that NL wild card race, and it's still going on. I can't believe it. I think a lot of people are shocked, but certainly going to talk about the Mets and the three other teams chasing them, and they are chasing them. There are four teams in the NL wild card race. We're going to talk about the Kyle Schwarber impending free agency, which should be very, very interesting. And I'm going to go over all the managers on the hot seat, and some of them aren't so hot, but I'll say guys who could be leaving their jobs, could be retiring, some all-time greats. Obviously, Bruce Bochy is one of them. I'm going to talk about them at the end. First, we're going to start with the note that I had in the New York Post about the Yankees calling on Skenes before the deadline. And certainly this was interesting, at least to me. And I will be taking chats after I get through this category. The Yankees before the deadline were one of less than a handful, so less than five teams called on Paul Skenes. The Pirates had made it clear that he wasn't going anywhere, that he was untouchable. But hey, it's worth a phone call. The Yankees did make that phone call. Maybe one or two or three other teams, not four, because I was told less than a handful of teams did call on Paul Skenes, and I get it. I don't blame the Yankees. Certainly, they had seen that. His girlfriend, Livy Dunn, was looking for apartments in Manhattan. And, maybe that they took that as a tip that maybe he'd be interested in coming to the Yankees. Now, of course, he has no control over whether he's getting traded now, but I wouldn't be shocked. I know they saw it. They say that wasn't the impetus, but certainly they were very, very interested in Skenes. I will say this. I don't know exactly what they offered. I don't think it ever came to that, but I will say this. This was one case where they were willing to trade George Lombard Jr. They were willing to trade Spencer Jones. They were willing to talk about just about any of the prospects, and they certainly do have a couple of good ones, a few good ones. They've done a nice job gathering the prospects. Sometimes people say we overvalue them. I don't know. Spencer Jones, I think, and George Lombard Jr. are two very, very good prospects. So the Yankees were willing to talk about any of them, but the Pirates didn't want to talk about trading Paul Skenes, and I get it. I mean, I think the fan reaction would have been brutal to trade Skenes at this point as he's about to win the Cy Young Award. I don't think there's any way around that at this point, not that there should be. He is certainly deserving. Sanchez has been outstanding, and several others have been really good. Peralta, Pivetta, Yamamoto, Suarez, Wheeler before he got hurt, unfortunately. So there have been excellent pitching performances in the National League, as there always are, but Skenes has been the best. Yankees gave it a shot. Didn't work out this time, and they will probably stay on it. We don't know the other teams in on Skenes, but there were a couple others, I do believe. And my feeling on this is the Pirates should try to lock him up, and at some point they will. And by lock him up, I mean at least 1 year into free agency. The problem is that the Pirates are not a team that spends. I think all their fans know that. And I know that probably everybody who's a good fan of baseball probably knows the Pirates are not a big spending team. And the belief is at this point that Skenes is one of the two or three best pitchers in Major League Baseball. And certainly if you're going to buy out a free agent year, the prices for the great starting pitchers. It is around $40 million at this point, maybe since it's obviously several years before he can be a free agent, 4 more years before he's a free agent. Maybe they think it's a little less than the $40 million. I don't know. I mean, he is a fantastic pitcher, so maybe it's a little more than the $40 million. But in any case, Pirates have never paid that kind of money for anyone. I do hope they give it a shot at some point. I doubt they'll go for it. You never know. It feels like Skubal, the other guy I put in that category, is one of the top 2 or 3 pitchers in baseball. Does not feel like the Tigers have made any headway to this point, from what I've heard anyway, in terms of locking up Skubal. So Skubal and Skenes, probably the top 2 pitchers in baseball. Wheeler is out right now. I'd put him in that category as well, but it was interesting that the Yankees did call on him. They were willing to trade big prospects, as they should. I mean, to me, I'd give up all of them. I'd give up Lombard. I'd give up Spencer Jones, whoever, whatever it took. But the Pirates did not want to talk about it. Pittsburgh is not locking him. Thank you. I'm getting some chats in there. Let's take a few right now. As long as he doesn't go to the Dodgers, it's a win for everyone. All right, there's a Dodger hater. There's a different feeling on this about who Skenes may favor as a free agent. Now, of course, most people go for the contract, but certainly Is it a tell that Livy Dunn was not only looking at Manhattan, she was turned down for Babe Ruth's old apartment? Is that just a coincidence that that's the apartment that she tried to buy? I don't know. It was interesting to see, and the Yankees certainly noticed that. Did that affect them? They say no. But certainly, is New York a spot for him? Could Los Angeles be a spot for him? I know that the chatter doesn't like that, and I'm going to take any and all chats that you send in now. But certainly the Dodgers are a team that plays for all the greats, and that will not be a shock. And he is from Southern California, Orange County, but, that's a part of the Los Angeles area. Need to go to the Yankees so everyone hates us even more. Well, I don't know if that'll change much, but yeah, I do think a lot of fans out there are not big Yankee fans. If you're not a Yankee fan, you're probably a Yankee hater. I get it. Now, maybe there is no tell. Maybe it isn't about where Livy Dunn's looking for an apartment or where he grew up. He did spend the last offseason in Baton Rouge. He played at LSU, and he did spend it in Georgia, so don't know. He grew up an Angels fan. Interesting. Well, I'd like to see the Angels pony up for that kind of money that would take to sign Paul Skenes after trading for him. So anyway, that's my take on the Yankees' call on Skenes. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more categories now. We're going to hit on Schwarber free agency now. And again, I'm going to take any and all chats now. I just want to get through that first category. And I don't want to lose my notes here. All right, Kyle Schwarber, something else I wrote about in the New York Post. Big free agent. They tried to sign him in spring. Dave Dombrowski told me they thought they made a good offer. He admitted that Kyle Schwarber made the right decision not taking that offer. Things have gone very well for him. He's got 50-plus offers. Trade Devin Williams. Well, there is no trading of Devin Williams. The trade season is over. Does he beat out Ohtani for MVP? I'll get on that. There is not going to be a trade of Devin Williams. Will he re-sign with the Yankees? I'm doubtful of that. I think he'll be going somewhere else. No way Philly lets him walk. That's kind of my take on it, too. Schwarber to the Pods. Well, certainly that would help out the Padres, who have not hit a lot of home runs this year. They are a very nice team. I'm going to go over and see the Mets at the Padres and Mets in a little while. But they could use his offense. As a free agent, for now he's with the Phillies. And I do believe that it's not that likely that they let him walk. This is a team that's been outstanding in free agency. They have an excellent owner in John Middleton. And so, as far as MVP goes, I think the MVP is Ohtani. I don't think there's any way around that. Sorry to use that expression again. He's got 50 home runs, and he's pitching. Gave up no hits through 5 innings, was taken out, which I get. I also get why the fans were upset. So Schwarber brings more with the bat. Then I guess they're talking about that Ohtani. I mean, Schwarber's been amazing. I'm not going to say, one guy brings more or less. Ohtani and Schwarber have been the two best offensive forces in the National League. If Ohtani didn't pitch, it would be a close one. I kind of think maybe we'd lean Schwarber for MVP, but Ohtani does pitch, and he's pitching very well. He's striking out a ton of guys. He had the no-hitter through 5. He is going to be one of the 4 starters for the Dodgers in the postseason. Hey, that Dodger postseason rotation looks fantastic at this point. They've got 6 starters pitching well. You got to figure Sheehan will go to the bullpen. Still got 5. Do they move Kershaw to the bullpen? I mean, he's been pretty good as well, and he is an all-time great Dodger and pitcher, so she'll be interesting to see. But in terms of MVP, I don't think Schwarber can get it. Call me old school, but how can a 240 hitter win MVP? Well, we've got a couple of guys who are candidates, Schwarber and certainly Cal Raleigh, and a candidate in the American League, both hitting in that range. They are clear candidates at this point. I would say Raleigh's got the better chance because he's not going up against a guy who hits and pitches. Judge has been his usual amazing self. At this point, I'm probably leaning Judge. I mean, the Yankees are now playing better. He's now playing right field. It's hard to ignore that 1,100 OPS. Raleigh's having a historic season. I hate it when catchers are overlooked. I think we overlooked them for the Hall of Fame and for other awards. And I don't want to be the one to overlook him. I don't happen to have that vote. I've been a proponent of Raleigh. Certainly that was while Judge was out, while Judge wasn't playing right field. Now he is playing right field. The Yankees are doing better than they were. Both teams are going to make the playoffs. Neither one is probably going to get a bye, even though Seattle's going to win that division or could win that division. So, it's a toss-up. But at this moment, I'd kind of leave Judge if I had to make that choice. And I've been a Raleigh guy all the way. It's too bad that Raleigh's a catcher because he kind of deserved it. I think that's the reason that he has the case, is that he is catching while doing all this amazing home run stuff. I mean, he's set the all-time record for a switch hitter for home runs, beating Mickey Mantle. Now, is he Mickey Mantle? No. Is he Ken Griffey Jr.? No, but he's catching and he's hitting mid-50s home runs. It's an amazing season. What if he gets to 61 or 62 home runs? I mean, it's going to be hard to ignore. It is a toss-up. In the National League, I do think it's Ohtani at this point. I mean, there's only one Ohtani. He's got 50 home runs also. Has Schwarber been better offensively? Maybe a touch. But, I mean, he obviously he's not pitching too. So, but Schwarber is terrific in the clubhouse. He's a terrific hitter. He's a catch for any team that should get him. A fantastic player, an amazing guy. I do think that Philly will up its offer from spring training. How much is that going to be? I mean, at this point, it's going to be a guess for me. Let's see. So I think the Judge has been getting walks since late May. They aren't walking Cal nearly as much. Yeah, I mean, Judge is the better hitter. That's fair. You know what? But Cal Raleigh is catching, and he's doing historic things. So case can be made for Cal Raleigh. I don't begrudge anybody who thinks that. I thought he was the MVP up until maybe 3-4 days ago. As Judge is now back doing everything and been fantastic. Schwarber, I think at this point you're going to have to go 4-year contract, not a 3-year contract. I don't know what their offer was in spring, but I think it's got to be 4 years plus at this point. He's been amazing. He really has been a $40 million player. Is he a 4 for 160? I mean, I think that's going to be higher than people are predicting. I've seen some predictions out there. I think Athletic polled some people, and somebody was debating whether he gets 100. I don't think there's any question about that at this point. I mean, I think it's got to be a 4-year deal, right? It's got to be at least $35 million, right? So we're talking that's $140 million, in my opinion. The guy is a credible player. Right? And incredible players get big bucks now. You can't, there's no arguing that. So to me, that is his value. Do I think he leaves Philadelphia? I don't think so. I did talk to him when I was in Philly a few days ago. I guess that was last week now for the Mets series. He told me certainly that both sides are going to talk about it. And certainly there is interest on both sides. He's not a fool. He didn't say he's desperate to go back to the Phillies. And I don't think he is desperate, but I think he would like to. I think he likes it there. I mean, why wouldn't he? I mean, that's me. That's my supposition. He basically just said there's interest on both sides. So we shall see. Didn't say that he had to be a Philly, but to me, I think it makes sense. He's had his best years with the Phillies. He had pretty good years with the Cubs as well. And previously in Washington, he had a nice year as well. But the Phillies have been the best for him. So, and they do get it done. They do a great job there. The front office, Dombrowski, the owner, Middleton, they do a superb job. So I think that's the likelihood. Could he go back to the Cubs? That would be a great story. Could the Red Sox be interested? Possibly. A number of teams could be. 2 teams that probably will not be interested are the Yankees, who have Stanton as a DH doing very, very well. And they obviously have Ohtani as a DH/pitcher. So he doesn't have that, but I don't think that affects his value. Certainly every free agent wants the Dodgers and the Yankees involved, but this guy's having such a special season that I think he is going to be just fine. And in my opinion, it's got to be 4 years. And to me, got to be at least $35 million. All right, NL wild card. I can't believe we're still talking about the NL wild card. And I can't believe the Mets are the team that's got to hang on. I mean, we shall see. Amazing. It really is. They were in a position where it was a slam dunk that they were a playoff team for sure. 21 games over, right? And now suddenly they were only 3 games over. Now they've won 2 in a row. So now they're 5 over. But I mean, to go 16 under over that period, incredible. Over a half season, they played at the rate of a 98-loss team. The pitching just went south. I know that the pitching had been outstanding through the first half of the year. In fact, they were leading in ERA. The starting pitching had not gone a long distance, though certainly was taxing on the bullpen, but the starting pitching has had a lot of issues, clearly. What David Peterson was great in that first half. He's not been as great in the second half. So that has been one issue. Don't want to put it on him because overall he's been very good, was an all-star. Holmes, I think, has done a nice job overall for a guy who switched over from bullpen to starting. So not on him, but certainly Senga, who's in the minor leagues at the moment, trying to work things out, needs to regain form. Manaea showed some signs against the Padres, a 1 run in 5 innings. A lot of issues, though, a lot of issues. And, really, McLean has saved them. In his starts, they are 5-1. The one they lost was a 1-0 defeat. So without him, they would be not in the lead in the wild card race. So he has really been a savior. I know you don't want to say a rookie's a savior, but right now he has been their savior. Their lead is 1.5, and it's over the Diamondbacks. And the Diamondbacks are likely to have the tiebreaker. That's not settled yet because it is going to be based, since they went 3-3 against each other, it's going to be based on in-division record and not quite done. But it does feel like right now the Diamondbacks do have the edge there. I don't understand why that is the formula, why in-division record is the reason. I mean, if you're in a weaker division, you obviously have an advantage. You had a whole season of advantages. Why should you get the advantage there of in-division record? They probably need to change that rule. I'm not complaining for a particular team or reason or whatever. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Diamondbacks 1.5 out, probably will have the tiebreaker. That's the team you got to look at. All of a sudden, it's the Diamondbacks, right? It had been the Giants and the Reds, and they're not out of it yet, right? But the Reds, to me, are a team that's kind of a little bit top-heavy in terms of having excellent starting pitching, good manager, great manager, not that much else to really hang your hat on. You've got L.A. De La Cruz, an incredible talent who's hit 1 home run in the last 300-something at bats. Hard to believe, but very young team. Probably not quite ready for prime time. They are on the rise, though. Give them credit. Giants, they were a team that sold at the deadline. So, I'm giving them credit for even being in the race at this point. They don't feel like they have quite enough. You wouldn't think any of these teams would have enough to compete with the Mets, the $340 million Mets, but apparently they do. So give them all the credit. And the D-backs, amazing. What if they hadn't sold? The deals for Suarez, Naylor, Kelly, those are 3 prime players out of their team, and they've traded them all. They're only a 1.5 games out, and they probably will have the tiebreaker. So that's the team you've got to watch. Mets, certainly the last 2 games, they've turned it around a bit. They've been on a long losing streak. This was their 3rd losing streak of at least 5 games, maybe even more. They might have had 3 7-game losing streaks. I'm not sure about that stat, but it's been quite a surprising come down for the Mets, and it is shocking that there is even a race. And certainly the D-backs and the Giants were not expecting this. That's why both of those teams sold. Now, the Giants did pick up some guys who've helped them, a couple from the Mets, including Budo, who's been okay for the Giants in the bullpen, and certainly Gilbert has given some energy. But that was the one deal where actually the Mets did get someone who's helped them, and that's Tyler Rogers. He's been good. David Stearns, honestly, very honest, admitted that the deadline did not go as planned, and Helsley has not been good. Mullins has not done anything for the Mets. It's really been quite a surprise. Helsley was one of the better relievers in baseball up until this year. He was doing okay with the Cardinals, but just falling apart with the Mets. Mullins had a great final couple of weeks with the Orioles, helped them make a trade, but right now he has not done much, and that's why McNeil's even played out there. I even said, why not call up Jet Williams? I've been told that's not happening, at least a few days ago. Jet Williams has only played a few games at AAA. That's probably not enough time. I wonder now if that was enough time for Tong. He has not been as good as their first start in the last couple, but we shall see about that. But NL wild card, it is still wild. It is still unbelievable that the Mets are still having to sweat it out. And believe me, they are sweating it out. All right, AL playoff race. Give the Rangers credit. Give the Guardians credit. It's hard to believe there's still a Mets trade deadline. Still not as bad as the Yankees trade deadline. You know what? I'm going to count McMahon for the Yankees. So I think McMahon's at least certainly a major improvement. I know that the fans are not happy that McMahon has such a low batting average and strikes out so much. If you look at the strikeout leaders, right, it seems to be like the superstar players plus McMahon. So I mean, obviously he strikes out way too much, but he's an outstanding defensive third baseman. So compared to what they had previously, that is a net plus, a plus plus for the Yankees. Plus Caballero right now appears to be the majority player at shortstop. He steals bases. Obviously, had a bad game the other day, but right now I wouldn't say he's taken over absolutely for Volpe. But if the playoffs were today, I think Caballero gets the bulk of the starts. So that was a plus. And Bednar's their closer. So the Yankees deadline was much better than the Mets. So whoever said that is either an upset Yankee fan or a Met fan who really isn't paying attention to what the Yankees are doing, because the Mets deadline has been a disaster. Let's face it. I mean, Helsley, one of the best relievers in baseball up until this year. I don't know if he's tipping his pitches or what, has been completely ineffective with the Mets. And so is Mullins, frankly, right? It's not as bad if it's not a pitcher who's giving up runs, but he's making outs at an unbelievable rate. And in terms of his center field play, it's been okay, but he's not as good as Tyrone Taylor. And he's probably better than McNeil in center field, but, he hasn't been really great in center either. So anyway, the Yankee deadline was better than the Mets. Anyway, enough on that. AL playoff race, give the Rangers credit. Semion's been out. Seager's been out. Eovaldi is out. They've got all kinds of stars out, and they are doing it with what they call the little rascals. Hellman's playing well. All these guys that we never heard of are doing great for the Rangers. They are still in the race. The Guardians, who knows how they're doing it. They're amazing. They do a great job there that they're in it. Yep, annoyed Yankee fan, but what felt like a poor deadline. Yeah, okay, I get it. No problem. Thank you for checking back in. So still going on, still a race. NL race to me, tighter. Mets have more to worry about. I mean, Texas and Cleveland can get in there. They can, but Seattle's playing well. Houston has still hung in there. I don't see Boston blowing it. They should be too good to blow it, I would think. Yankees feel like they're fairly solidified, so still an uphill battle for both the Guardians and the Rangers. Still not out of it, but uphill battle. All right, Yordan Alvarez injury. Boy, this is another one for Houston. They've had a tough season with injuries, particularly in the rotation and in the bullpen. The Hader injury was a killer. Alvarez, Joe Espada, said that he will not be back during this regular season. That is a big blow because they have not solidified not only the division, but a playoff spot. Give Houston credit, though. With all the injuries that they've gotten, the defections, obviously they lost Bregman. Before that, they lost Springer. They've lost all sorts of guys. They brought Correa back after losing him, but they've had many defections. They've had many injuries. They are still in the thick of that AL West race, even with Seattle winning a bunch of games in a row. So I'm giving Houston credit, but that's a big blow because Alvarez was had an OPS over 1,000 in the 20 or so games since he's been back. Astros, Fromber, okay, yeah. I mean, all their injuries have hurt. Fromber is generally a guy who does not get injured, though. So he is, he's been steady other than that one pitch, which we don't know exactly what happened there, but people who observed it didn't love it. Hit the catcher. I don't know if it was a cross-up or what, but give Joe Espada credit for keeping that whole team together with all the injuries and all that's gone on in Houston. So an amazing job by them. All right, managers are on the hot seat, and go ahead, chat at me, any chats, and I will get to any and all of the chats. We've got 6 minutes to go for managers on the hot seat. Some of these aren't really hot seats. They're probably retirements or potential retirements. All right, let me clear up a few guys I do not think are on the hot seat. Carlos Mendoza, obviously the Mets have not had the year that you'd expect or that they wanted to have. But we had David Stearns on, the baseball president, whose decision that will be, say that he is coming back on our New York Post podcast. So I'm going to assume that's accurate. David Stearns not a liar. Mendoza had a great first year. Obviously, this year has not gone as planned at all, but they say he's coming back. Aaron Boone, the Yankees are back doing well. They're going to be in the playoffs again. If they don't make the playoffs, if some some disaster strikes and somehow they're not in it, all bets are off there. But looking at his lifetime winning percentage, his relationship with his bosses, and it still remains great with Cashman, with Al Steinbrenner, and certainly with the captain, Aaron Judge. Not that he's his boss, but he's a big figure there. Plus, he got the 2-year extension in spring training. So I don't see Aaron Boone going anywhere. Bob Melvin, they're right around 500 now. Had a disappointing start, made a run after the sale. He's still got years to go. I doubt that he's on the hot seat. You never know. I think he probably will retain his job. Then we also have all the guys who are older, and all the guys we have other guys who are in temporary or interim jobs, and we're going to go over all of them right now. All right, in Anaheim. I'm always afraid to say Los Angeles. It's really Anaheim. If you've been there, you're in Anaheim. But anyway, the Angels. Ron Washington wants to come back. We know that. Montgomery is there. Players losing confidence in him every time he brings in Tanner Scott or starts Michael Conforto. Okay, I'm sure you're talking about Dave Roberts. All right, well, Dave Roberts is now the highest paid manager in baseball, deservedly so. I think he's an outstanding manager. He's won 2 World Series. I'm not going to nitpick over playing one guy or showing too much faith in another guy. He's trying to certainly get Tanner Scott right. That bullpen has been a disaster. The bullpen helped win them the World Series last year, right? Treinen, that whole group, Phillips, they did a fantastic job. Phillips out for the year, but you've now got Kopech back. But basically the problem has been Yates and Scott have not been what they expected, right? Vesey has been probably their best reliever. It's been an issue. The bullpen has been an issue, but I'm not going to blame Dave Roberts for the bullpen issue. Dave Roberts can't keep his stars engaged. You know what? They won the World Series twice. There was a bit of a come down. It is hard to repeat. Nobody repeats, right? Obviously, you had that Yankee dynasty, but other than that, teams just do not repeat. It is very, very difficult. So I'm not going to blame Dave Roberts for them not having a great year. They are going to be in the playoffs. They do have a shot. They are the favorite. He's got the whole rotation together. Last year, he was able to win the World. I mean, to me, all the fans should be bowing down at Dave Roberts. He won the World Series last year with a makeshift rotation of Walker Buehler, who was released this year. Yamamoto had come back from a shoulder situation, and Buehler had come back from an elbow situation, and Jack Flaherty, who's a fine pitcher, but he was up and down. He won the World Series with those guys. That was his whole starting rotation. Now you've got Snell, you've got Yamamoto, healthy and all good. You've got Glass now. You've got Kershaw. You've got Sheehan. This rotation, and of course Ohtani. How can I forget Ohtani? Sheehan already works in bulk role during the playoffs. He will be in the bullpen. Yes, I agree. Sheehan's going to go to the bullpen. But then who else do you put in the bullpen? And you move the all-time great Kershaw to the bullpen. That seems to be the likely one. They basically come out and said Ohtani is likely to be a starter. I don't think any of those other guys are bullpen guys. Could it be Glass now? I kind of don't think so, but we shall see. You don't need 5 starters in October, so they're going to have to figure out something there. But anyway, Dave Roberts is now in the hot seat. I'm not sure why I'm discussing him in the hot seat thing. To me, he's the best manager, or at least one of the best managers in baseball. He won a miracle World Series. I know they have a big payroll, but they didn't have a rotation, and he won the World Series last year. So let's not go crazy on that. All right, Ron Washington would like to go back. He wanted to keep managing when he had his health scare, and it turned out to be a heart situation. He got a quadruple bypass. He's said to be doing well, and he'd like to come back. Could they bring him back? It's possible. Ray Montgomery has done fine. It does appear that he's got a potential to come back, but other names are being mentioned. And I mentioned Albert Pujols last week that he does want to manage, and to me, the Angels would be a potential spot for him. Somebody wrote that this week, and I said I can't give you credit that the Angels are a spot for him, but let's be real about it. Did not have a great run with the Angels. He had a better run with the Dodgers, at least more memorably positive run with the Dodgers. He was pretty good with the Angels the first 5 years, but certainly it was a 10-year deal. He was released, and could the Angels hire him though? It's possible. I'm not going to rule it out, as I mentioned it last week as well. Donnie has said he doesn't mind playing in the outfield if it happens. Okay, well, I'm glad that he doesn't mind it. I don't think that's going to be too likely, but that's just my own interpretation of it. We'll see about that. I did see that today on Twitter. I'm not seeing that as too likely. All right, Schaefer with Colorado. I think there's a good chance he stays. Colorado doesn't like to change anything. He was a great outfielder. I'm sure he was. Yes, I believe it. I believe he's a great outfielder, but I don't think they want to risk that. He was injured last year in the playoffs, and they didn't have as great a playoff as he should have due to the injury. Why risk anything with him? To me, if he's a pitcher, he's throwing there. He doesn't need to play the outfield too. But hey, look, I could be wrong. All right, Kelly with Pittsburgh. I think he stays, so I don't think there's any hot seat there. Manzolino with Baltimore. He's done a decent job. Obviously, they have played better. I think they still have a search, and I could see Schumacher, Flaherty, or Ross potentially for them or anyone else. Cairo, I think they do a search. Could he stay? I guess it's possible. I think they're doing a GM search as well. Josh Burns seems like a good candidate there. Same with Hawkins, same with Sauday. So they've got some GM candidates. They could retain DeBartolo, also qualified, I believe. He's the interim guy, but I think there's a decent chance they'll go out at this point. They're already doing interviews, so wouldn't be shocked. Josh Burns is from Washington, D.C. He's very experienced, a good man, part of the L.A. juggernaut, so would not be shocked if they went in that direction. In that case, I expect a managerial search, and I think they'll probably have a change as well there. Bruce Bochy, he's told some people he still loves the job. He didn't love retirement, but that could go either way. If he decides to retire and they're not suddenly firing him, he's done a fantastic job as always. If he does retire, Schumacher would certainly be the guy unless he goes somewhere else. And Snitker, he goes back and forth whether he wants to stay or not stay. Sorry, I'm missing some chats, but we are at the end here. Snitker could go either way. If he leaves, Walt Weiss is the logical candidate. He turned down an interview in Detroit. That would make sense to me. We shall see. So there are a lot of potential retirements and some guys who are interims right now, and some interesting stuff on the managers. All right, that's it for me. This is Jon Heyman. But will have to go out in the field to keep his place in the batting lineup. Okay, well, to me, I mean, he can do it theoretically. Ohtani could be an outfielder, and I'm glad people brought that up because that wasn't one of the categories that came up on Twitter just pretty recently. I just don't see them doing that with him, right? You want to retain his health and to be an outfielder and a pitcher. Could he do it? I'm sure he could. He could do anything. He is the greatest player probably we've ever seen. But isn't it enough to be a starting pitcher and the team's greatest offensive threat? And they have plenty of good ones with Betts now performing like he usually does, and Freeman and all the rest. It's pretty amazing what he does. And I'm not going to be shocked if he closes out a series. I really wouldn't. I saw him at the WBC close it out against Mike Trout, his teammate with the Angels. That was an amazing at-bat and strikeout. Closed out the WBC for Japan. I could see him coming in as a closer. I could see him as a starter. He's going to be a hitter. Can I see him in the outfield? To me, that's a long shot. Interesting, but I don't see that happening. All right, this is Jon Heyman signing off for Bleacher Report. It's been my pleasure. I'll be back at you next week.